Yes, and kindly send the message to everyone. Quickly join because definitely we have short of time. Okay, everybody, how are you?
बिल्कुल ठीक आपने
Alhamdulillah.
सर वाइवा लाजमी है
हाँ भाई भाई मस्त उसके बगैर तो
सर
गुजारा
इसकी
नहीं।
जगह कोई क्विज वगैरह ले लें
नहीं भाई भाई
तो या फिर असाइनमेंट भी दे सकते हैं आप कोई
भाई
यस
भाई
सर कोई सर असाइनमेंट दे दें कोई क्विज ले लें कुछ भी कर लें वाइवा रहने दें
क्यों वाइवा क्यों रहने दूं? वाइवा तो इम्पोर्टेंट है। वाइवा में तो पता चलेगा आपने कितना सीखा है।
सर शीट तो बना लेंगे अब इतने फॉर्मूलाज कौन याद करे
तो फार्मूला किसने कहा आपको याद करने का?
सर आपने सवाल भी बड़े मुश्किल मुश्किल पूछने हैं हम इसका आंसर भी नहीं आने
सॉरी।
सर आपने क्वेश्चन बड़े मुश्किल मुश्किल पूछे मैं कह रहा हूँ
नहीं नहीं,
उसके
मैंने
आंसर
इतने
भी नहीं
मुश्किल
आने
क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछने। मैंने क्यों मुश्किल क्वेश्चन पूछने?
चलें सर फिर आप ये बता दें आप कौन से क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हैं ताकि हम वो तैयार कर लें
जी सर 10 मिनट का आपने वाइवा रखा हो इतना लंबा
10 मिनट तो बड़े शॉर्ट है। पहले तो मैंने 20 मिनट्स रखे थे। मैं कहा 20 मिनट्स
2-3 मिनट
ज्यादा हो जाए। सॉरी।
मैं कह रहा हूँ सर 2 या 3 मिनट का मतलब वाइवा रखना है मतलब 10 मिनट का वाइवा सर किधर मतलब देंगे हम
नहीं वाइवा दिस इज रीजनेबल टाइम ना। बहुत शॉर्ट में होना चाहिए। Okay, today we are going to discuss about just like the application thing. We have done this part, so I'm just going to show you section. So what we have done, we have up till done this calculations, right? We have applied sensitivity analysis. I hope that you people can do this sensitivity analysis without any problem. What do you think? Is it possible? Actually, you people need to do some practice. Once you will do the practice, you will feel very much convenient. There's no issue because things are not so much difficult. Uh, they just need some practice. If you do that practice, you can easily handle these, how you can generate these results. You can easily generate these results, right? So everything can be done. How much these values, how they are going to be. At one time, you have to incorporate these values. So just like for your own company, the equipment cost is there, salvage value maybe place 0. If you want to place some proportion of salvage value, you can place it as well, no issue. Salvage value can be 0, or you can place, let's suppose if your total cost is 25 million for the asset, so you can place 5 million as a your salvage for 7 year, 8 year, how much time period data you have. So let's suppose you have 10 years data, 10 years value, 12 years value. Then it's quite reasonable that your asset is going to be uh, still usable after completion of the project mean they have some salvage value. It's not a scrap value, right? Then you can place the time period, how many values you have. Accordingly, you can place the time period. Discount rate, the discount rate may be mentioned there in terms of the interest rate, but if it is not mentioned, you can take 10% from the beginning, and then you can apply variation. 5%, even you can take 8%, 10%, any starting point you can use. And the cash flow is that just like earning before tax. Earning before tax you will use as a cash flow, and then you are going to apply these values, right? But once you will place the formulas, you are not going to memorize these formulas. I'm not going to say that you have to memorize. They are, once you are going to apply them, you will automatically do that. There is no issue. So the basic thing is that once you need to do, you can do it. So you know how to do it, how to calculate this NPV, how to calculate IRR, how to calculate MIRR, how to calculate break-even point. So you must be capable to do that. This is the only important requirement which I just want to evaluate, or how you can apply these variations, how you can generate the results. These are the important things which you need to do. This is the purpose for taking Viva. Otherwise, I know that once you are going to do practice, you will get it. So I just want to make sure that you will do the practice. You are not going to think that, okay, we will do the practice after completion of this course. Then you are not going to do that. Clear? Are you agree with me?
Okay, sir.
So still you have this time period, whole week is there. So, and your 21st, I think, is the date for your Viva. So still full week is there. So should try to use. I'm not going to much deviate from these calculation, mean to say these are the basic things you are capable to do that. So whatever discussion is going on in other classes, they are revolving around it. So you are not going to work more or learn more new techniques. Margins
सर इसका फाइनल नहीं ना होगा?
No, Viva and quizzes. Viva is just like your final.
सर एंड पर ये शीट भी सबमिट करवानी है हमने कंप्लीट करके.
Exactly, with your own data set, with your company's data set. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is done. So I'm just going to move on. This last time we have done this part, and then we are moving towards the rating and ranking procedure. Whenever you are going to make some ranks of all of your investment proposals, then or a different kind of business projects, then you are going to make a ranking just to make a choices that which investment or which project is more beneficial to be initiated now and which can be deferred for some later time period when the resource is available. So actually you have to make this decision, because let's suppose all possible investment projects which you have prepared and you have actually evaluated on these criteria may be very much crucial for your whole business, but cannot be performed simultaneously due to the shortage of fund or due to the shortage of human resource or any other thing. So you can do it with passage of time, one by one or bit by bit. So for that purpose, you must know which project is more important or crucial to be initiated first, and which can be deferred later. And secondly, what kind of interdependence exists among these business projects, which should come first and which should come second and third, and so the sequence for the particular row. So identify the objective and assessment criteria, specified criteria for rating alternatives, assign weights from years to relative importance. So all these we have already applied this. So identify the alternatives. Okay. The process you are applying for this is your NPV, IRR, modified IRR, through which you are going to make the rank of these projects, right? So you have different options and you are going to apply these different options, compare them with respect to their IRR, NPV, and with respect to their modified IR. Even break-even may be compared, and which has the shortest break-even, you will go for first for this project, you recover your cost, and then you go for the next project, which has a bit longer break-even point. So step by step, you are capable to retrieve or get your actual cost and investment back, and then you are going to put it into the other business or other project, other investment option or other project. On this can be done in terms of your short-term and long-term profitability perspective, na? Because you know that in the short term you can perform different projects and different small pieces of your business, and then in the long run you are going to have a full frame, long big objective which you need to achieve. So these are the pixels of that, the whole picture, the big objective which you are going to achieve in the long run. So these pixels should be accurately placed and accurately done. Then you can have a clear-cut picture, mean to say you can achieve your final goal in the long. And just like the company which is producing seasonal items, then they have to be considered about variation in the demand, because definitely demand may be quite varied. Right? So you have to smooth out the seasonal heights and lows in consumer demand, because the smoothing is important, and that time moving average system can be applied if you have learned statistics for that purpose. So you can go through it. Anything you want to know about it, we can discuss. Foreign investments have special criteria and risks to be considered, such as available labor force, expropriation, official government seizure of private property. Usually it is not going to happen as such unless until there is some kind of rivalness across countries. And so the criteria should be mutually exclusive or at least relatively independent, so that the judge can that judges can take trade of satisfying one criteria at the expense of the other, right? Judges are going to make decisions, so one criteria and other criteria, so they must have that kind of criteria. I mean, if you are using, let's suppose, NPV and BCR, benefit cost ratio, NPV and BCR both are interconnected. So as if you jump from NPV to BCR, nothing is going to change. So this means because NPV is the difference between benefit and cost, BCR is the ratio between benefit and cost. So in both cases, there is no significant difference you can find out in terms of ranking or in terms of doing that comparison. So better is that, just like if you are making decision on the basis of NPV and you are not accurately identify which project you should go for, then you jump to the IRR. That is better option, or break-even point, break-even time or break-even point, right? That is a better option. Or maybe just like you may use the initial cost, initial outlays. Let's suppose one project is going to be initiated with 5 million rupees, another project may be initiated with 3 million rupees, another project with 10 million rupees. So which project you can go for? If you have ample funds, 10 million is better compared to 3 and 5. If you have short of funds, then 3 million is better. So in this way, you can pick these projects. So I think if anything you need to discuss, you can. So sometimes you can assign some kind of weightage to these criteria. If you're doing more than one criteria, then you can assign some weight to each criteria. Because let's suppose you are using 3 different criteria simultaneously, then you will assign some weight. Equal weight can be given, or some more weight to some specific criteria may be given, right? Just like if you are using one criteria as a break-even point, second criteria is the total cost outlay, total fixed investment, and third criteria is NPV or this IRR, and which is more important for your context for this business, you have to give more weight to that. Otherwise, equal weight can be given. So just like for weighing system, you know, either you can assign these way to this way, assign relative numerical values to express how well each alternative satisfies the criteria. Several weighting system can be point rating from 0 to 100 can be given. Maybe use just like perfect score for a project would be 100, or imperfect score is 0, but in between your project is going to lie at the system values from -1 to +1. So -1 shows the complete failure, while +1 shows the complete success, and actually your value will lie in between. So 0 is in the middle. 0 doesn't mean 0, null. It means that your project is reasonably good. So it's not total failure, it's not total successful, but it is going to work effectively. Some other views 0 to 10. So any kind of numbering you can assign for this ranking purpose or given for weight. Alternatives need to be identified, right? So you can make sure that if one project is you are not going to follow, then what other projects are available. So you must know, and it is even in case of inputs resources, whenever you are going to use these input resources, you must know there are alternatives. Let's suppose if labor is not available, then the machines are there, or some other way to continue to produce. Whenever you are going to apply ranking weights to different criteria, then you are going to continue to calculate the values which you are going to get for every project, and then you are going to calculate this whole score, total score, and then use this score for ranking process. So this is a conclusion. So I hope you will understand this whole phenomena, why we are going to apply NPV, MIRR, IRR, or these break-even points and so on, these strategies, because all these strategies are vital or crucial. Otherwise, just like if you are going to calculate how many labor force you are going to employ, or how many wages are going to change, or any other strategy that how much land you need, or how much variable cost you are going to, maybe you can use a lot of criterias, but they are not standardized criteria. So actually these NPV, IRR, modify IRR, break-even point, and their flow with reference to different kind of variation, all these are actually more relevant as well as more standardized. So because otherwise what will happen if you are you have the option to start your diversify business or start a project related to transport. On the other side, you have the option to put the same resources in some educational project or some health project. So all these three projects, transport, education, health, they have different segments, they have different contexts, they have different dimensions. So comparing them is not an easy job. I mean to say, it's really difficult to compare these otherwise if you are not going to use these criteria. So these criteria actually focusing their financial dimensions mainly, and then these financial dimensions are effectively evaluated. Once any project financial dimension is effectively evaluated, then at least you are not going to once you are going to start your project, you are not going to face trouble in terms of finances or financial side. If you are not going to face trouble in terms of financial side, definitely the physical side can be managed. Just like you are studying your courses and you are paying your dues, if you don't have any problem in terms of paying dues, all kind of dues and all kind of spending or expenses what you are going to bear, then whatsoever problem you are facing, just like due to COVID, you cannot study properly due to this online system, and due to the different format of education and different format of exam, all these are physical changes which can be managed. That's it. But if let's suppose you don't have the funds available to finance your course, or you don't have the funds available to continue to study, then you are really in trouble. That trouble cannot be managed effectively, because in that case you have to close down your project. It's not possible to keep it continue. But once it is continued, in between whatever troubles you are going to face, you try to manage. and actually in real life or in real sense, you are learning through this. Uh, my personal perspective here is that, okay, whenever you are facing these kind of crises and troubles and situations, during your study or during any kind of business activities in the beginning, they are actually helping you to learn and handle the problems you are going to face in real life or in a business at later stage. So they are making you more stronger. It is just like the saying of Iqbal कि ये तो चलती है बाद में मुखालिफ से ना घबरा ए ख्वाब ये तो चलती है तुझे ऊंचा उड़ाने के लिए. So actually that is the phenomena happening with you whenever you are facing some kind of physical crisis. So mostly companies are actually making sure that their financial side is being safe, because at least this is the bloodline. So they have the blood which is going to provide the food across the whole body and the nutritions and the energy, and then body can do everything. So whatever problems body is going to face can be managed. Same thing applies with the business. Cash is coming like a flow, blood flow, and then it is going to make every organ of the business stronger, and then any kind of crisis and trouble and situations which are going to be faced by the business can be managed to these strong organs, right? Otherwise, the problem cannot be resolved if financial side is weak. So this part of the chapter is completed, and we are jumping to the next chapter. It's not too much different, because again it is the capital budgeting and it is application. Only thing which has been changed, few new concepts may be incorporated, and practically different companies are going to be used, different case studies have been used only. So same kind of activities what you have learned in till now, actually they are going to be replicated through this next part of this lecture now for this 14th lecture, which is the application side, right? Here we need to apply the principles to create spreadsheet for analyzing several types of capital budgeting problems. So new facilities, how much new facility is going to be pay you. So you have to calculate. Let's suppose this new facility will make your initial investment, right? More initial investment, or rise your initial investment, rise initial investment cost. So that is just like from 1 billion to from 1 million to 2 million, 5 million. So in this way, it means research and development of new product. That is important, because on the one side you have to put extra cost today, and you don't know whether this extra cost is going to be paid later, because whatever research and development is going to happen, when it will generate new idea, new product, innovate some existing production or procedures or product or design. So all these are uncertain, but whatever you will get later, new product, new procedure, new design, new technique, you will develop, that it will remarkably reduce your cost of production or remarkably increase your revenue. So basically the benefits are going to outweigh any kind of cost for this research and development. So you have to be careful about that, how much you will finance, how you are going to finance that research and development, and how it is going to be matured in terms of some kind of new product or new design or new innovations. Non-residential real estate projects may be initiated, designing existing products, project may be there, replacing equipments, type of businesses are there, leasing equipments or facilities, kind of expenses are there, right? Improving process of production, that is another way. Creating new distribution system is another way. So all these are the possibilities where you are going to have a different scenario for your business, and your cost or revenues or stream of your cost and stream of your revenues are going to change, right? Either it is going to affect your initial investment or fixed cost, or it is going to affect your variable cost. It is going to affect your revenues or whatever benefits you are getting out of the business, right? So all things are going to be affected due to different kind of possibilities. So these are the some of the possibilities which have been mentioned. So now we are going to jump to this case study. Again, the same, just like what we are going to do with the same, preparing the same kind of sheet you have to which already you have prepared. So, but with this new data set, with this new company, so this is for your practice. You can copy the data set, only that data set which is needed. Just like can you all of you need to identify one by one which component need to be incorporated and which should not. Equipment and cost including installation, should it be a external value or it is internal value? Mean you can copy it on your Excel sheet or not, you need to generate it.
Yes, sir. I think so. It is important. Equipment.
Copy it. Salvage value, Maru, salvage value will come there or it need to be generated?
It will be taken as 0.
Okay, it can be taken as 0, but if it is for a company 10%,
It will come there. It will be given in data.
it will be given in data, right? So mean to say, if it is not given, then it is up to you, your choice. Just like you can have both choices, you can place some value or you can place it 0. If you are going to place it 0, but you are assuming that the whole asset is going to be consumed over the lifetime of the project, 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, 20 years, whatsoever is the time period in your case. But if you place some value, let's suppose, usually it happens a computer is not going to be consumed after 5 years. So let's suppose you consume a computer for 5 years. After 5 years, still you can sell with some reasonable cost. But after 10 years, probably it may be totally consumed because it is not going to be compatible with the current technology, right? The current Windows and other things. So it means that you have to replace it after 10 years. So after 10 years, you can place it salvage value 0. But after 5 years, you can place some salvage value non-zero. Anyhow, if it is given, then you just copy it. Market value.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mama. It will be given or you have to calculate it?
Given, sir.
Given, right? Discount rate?
Given.
Given. Then tax rate?
Given, sir.
Given.
Depreciation base?
We can
Given.
find it. Sorry, given.
In this case, here's the question. Last time we have applied straight line depreciation. Straight line depreciation means every year same amount of depreciation is going to happen. For computer cost is 1 lakh rupee, 5-year life, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000 is called straight line depreciation. If after 5 years value 0, if its value is non-zero after 5 years, let's suppose 30,000 you can recover, then 70,000 divided by 5, right? And then equal amount, let's suppose around 16,000, 16,000, 16,000 this way, right? So this is the process, this is the way. But if let's suppose depreciation base is given, it is already mentioned that this much depreciation is going to happen, and this is the proportion of depreciation. Let's suppose first year to 5% depreciation, next year 12% depreciation, third year 21% depreciation, fourth year 30% depreciation. So in this way, depreciation is going to be mentioned. It may be cumulated, it may be individually for every year. Okay, then annual depreciation is there. D, please.
Sir, if it is different for every year, then how are we going to find it?
Formula is there, don't worry about it, right? So it will give you, or if there's no formula, you can apply the values in percentage term. Because some strategical formulas are already implanted now with the Excel. You can use them. And if you are using your own strategy, let's suppose that is not compatible for you, then let's suppose you know that after every year, this is going to be changed by 3 or 5%, this depreciation, then you can put your own values. So you can design your own formula even. Okay, then year and book value. Would it be given or not?
It will be given.
Given. So generally for this sheet, rows from 1 to 13 will be given to you, and then you have to use the values after deducting this depreciation, and then you can go for this annual year benefit. Then you may have annual year benefit, which is already, because annual depreciation is there. Annual depreciation, so annual year benefits are not given. So row number 15 is also given to you, row number 16 is also given to you, and so ultimately up to 18 row you can copy it, right? And then after that you will go for calculating these values: income after sales equipment, then capital gains, capital loss. This will only for the end year of the project. So these values you can calculate through here, but it is also just like available to you. Don't worry about it. You can calculate if it is not calculated. Otherwise, you can without formula you can identify these values. Formula is going to apply here, right, where you are going to use. So actually, I'm just going to move on complete sheet. This is a strategy through which you can apply this. This is the diagram you can draw, and this is the a bit complete sheet here. So you need to calculate this NPV, IRR, modified IRR, and then the time period. Same strategy, same whatever previously you have applied. You make this calculation, right, and then you can draw the values for these ratio values, whatever, just like NPVs, you have calculated IRR for different revenues. That has been mentioned for different perspective now. When you are going to change these initial outlay an investment, your annual year benefit, it is going to change how it is going to affect your NPV. So you can draw the diagram. It is just like that. I will show you, so you should not worry about it. What it shows, just like you have these cash flows, right? So just like you can draw it for only 5 years, but you may have more years, so there definitely your picture will be more clear than mine picture, right? So this shows that this is the how cash flows are going to change. So let's suppose if I'm going to add more, this is another, but definitely with reference to the amount of values, it is not giving you a correct picture. So let's suppose IRR will change in this way. This is the IRR. So I'm just going to pick one by one row, and then you can observe. And this is MIRR. So IRR and MIRR has nearby very close to each other. Only thing is that initially MIRR is higher, but later it lower down. So in this way you can observe, but overall you can observe only IRR. This is given here. So actually these diagrams or these graphs are helping you to identify how things are going to change over the time. Is this having exponential values in your case? Because these are the examples, and in example, the data set is already given, and what you need to do, you are bound to live with that, because you cannot make some changes here. So whatever picture is there, you have to live with that. But in your case, whatever data you have for your company, whenever you are going to apply for 12, 15, 20 values, then you will have more clear-cut picture for you. Then you can make better judgment about how things will move in future, right, related to that particular aspect. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's suppose if things are going to change, this kind of changes, even then you can observe your IRR, how IRR is going to change with different kind of strategies. Then actually, if I draw the graph for these values, it will not give you that kind of clear-cut picture, because variation behind the scenes are totally different from each other in different perspective. So this means whatever you will observe, let's suppose if I may draw this NPV picture diagram, what it will show that this kind of situation, right? So you don't know, okay, what is behind it. So you have to sort out that why it is so high, why it is so low in third period, so high in fourth period, so low. So what happens in third period, what happens in fourth period? So that is important. Just like in say, third period, in third period, you know, that's 20% cash flow increase only, keeping other thing constant. And in fourth period, you are keeping other thing constant, but your taxes has increased a lot. So this loss is due to the high taxes, and this is due to the high uh, revenues or cash flows. And if we incorporate both simultaneously, in this case, this is the fifth period, and in fifth period, you will observe situation is quite better. It's not too much low and too much high. And but what is happening if many other things are going to change, just say discount rate change, CF cash flows are going to change, and tax rate, then it is going to be more stable, right? So fluctuations are going to be controlled. So the point is that whenever you are going to explain that kind of behavior, then easily you can interpret behind, but you have to explain behind the scene things, what is happening behind it. So this is the IRR, internal rate of return, right? And then you will go for MIRR. What would be the difference between two? It's quite visible, right? MIR remain lower than IRR in all these cases. And even you can observe your break-even point. So all these scenarios you can include, and one by one you can discuss about that how things are going to change whenever behind the scene things are going to change, a different kind of variation is going to happen, and then this break-even time period is going to change, and it is going to respond differently. Overall, you will observe that things are becoming more stable because multiple kind of changes are going to compensate each other. Rising taxes are being compensated by rising cash flows. Rising discount rate is going to decrease any kind of growth in the company. So multiple kind of changes are happening simultaneously, when in real life, you know, all these changes are going to be faded into the system, and they are going to be observed through the exact actual variation in the sales and the revenues. So if you're therefore it is important to have more stable sales, more stable revenue, because stability needs to be ensured. Fluctuations are not good, because sometimes it happens that fluctuations are very short. Mean to say, just tax are increase up to 20% in this year, but next year it comes down, or you manage it to rising prices of your product, so ultimately you manage it. So the impact of this rise 20% tax is going to be diluted in the next year. So, but in a given year, it has huge impact on your business. So any kind of other depression in the economy may affect your business. So point is that for a given point of time, variations are quite large, because the full impact is going to be reflected. But over the time, that is going to be adjusted, it is going to be diluted, because it is going to be absorbed by the overall business environment. So in that case, things are becoming more smooth and stable. So initially, just let me show you through this graph. If any kind of just like news or any kind of impact is going to happen, initially it is going to cause large amount of variation, and then it is going to be settled in this way, right? So that is the behavior. This is the large impact of any kind of event, news happening in the current time period, but over the time its impact is going to be squeezed, and ultimately it is coming towards or converging towards the original path, right? So whatsoever original path it is going to follow, it comes back to this original path. If there is some kind of remarkable changes, sometime original path is going to be this one, but after a huge variation, original path become at different level. The level is going to be changed from this level to this level. So that can be a regime switching, you can say, or the paradigm shift type of situation, in which the whole phenomena has changed. Just like